Hearing none, those minutes are also approved as submitted. Please note, council has also been provided with the Finance Committee meeting minutes dated April 11th, 2022, and the Building and Lands Committee meeting minutes dated April 25th, 2022. Brings us to the lobby session of our meeting. In a moment, I will open the lobby session and allow an opportunity for the audience to address City Council as well as the administration regarding any matters pertaining to the business of council or the general affairs of the city of Bridgeville. Anybody who wishes to speak, we ask that you please approach the podium and begin by stating your name and address for the record, and you'll be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. So at this time, the lobby session is open. Is there anybody who would like to address council or the administration team? Mr. Craig?
Mayor's not here.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Okay. Hearing none, the lobby session is now closed and we will move on to administrative reports. This evening we will begin with you, Mr. Safety Service Director.
On tonight's agenda, there are 4 pieces of legislation in their first reading that the administration would like to be passed to dispense with second and third and passed by emergency. Under first readings, you have T92, 2022, an ordinance which amends 5952, 2022, which repealed and replaced NRCO Chapter 264 of the Civil Service Commission. The second piece of legislation is T93, 2022. It's an ordinance amending Ordinance 5536, 2019, which authorized the mayor to enter into a contract with a consulting engineering firm to design services, construction plans, and specifications for the Mill Creek Conservation and Flood Control Project by increasing the amount from $372,000 to $420,000. Also under first readings would be T94, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with a consulting engineering firm for the sanitary sewer master plan update not to exceed $350,000. And the last one is under third readings, an ordinance T79, 2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into contract for a 2022 traffic paint striping. And we'd like to have that passed this evening so we could get the paint striping done. And I'm sure the engineer will add to those engineering items that I've mentioned. Park and Recreation will be kicking off their summer concert series this coming Sunday, June 26th. Bring the entire family out, along with your chairs and blanket, to enjoy a free concert on the South Central Park gazebo lawn for Sunday from 5 to 8. Enjoy the sounds of Disco Inferno. And Freedom Festival and fireworks. As a reminder, the city will be co-sponsoring this year's Freedom Festival and fireworks with Pepco Elyria. The event will be held at Victory Park, Ohio at 7777 Victory Lane on Sunday, July 3rd. Gates open at 5 p.m. with activities, entertainment, food, beverages, and fireworks at approximately 10 p.m. Tickets are per vehicle and can be purchased online in advance only by visiting www.victoryparkohio.com. Net proceeds of the benefit and Northridge are the North Ridgeville Community Care and Canine Superheroes Foundation. In 2021, the Victory Park, Ohio presented North Ridgeville Community Care with a generous check, the amount of $7,500. And we hope this year get even better, as that was one of our first years to do the fireworks out at Victory Park. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of people that show up in the afternoon. The baseball games are not going. The park is really for our community and our friends and family to enjoy the fireworks over the lake. And I believe they are going to have the kids standing and on the lake with the skis and the pyramid going up like they did in Florida. So I'm still thinking that they're going to do that again this year on the lake from that club that owns the lake. That completes the mayor's report this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Engineer.
Thank you, Council President. Short report this evening. Should the 22 pavement traffic striping go by emergency this evening, the city would like to put that out to bid this Thursday, 6/23. So if that goes through, we'll be doing that as one of our up and coming projects. Our Mills Road, Stony Ridge Road, Avalon Drive, Peanut Roundabout. We're still in negotiations with multiple property owners for the necessary right-of-way needed for the project. 3 parcel negotiations have been completed to date. There are 2 other properties that the city's consultant is working through negotiations with the owner to obtain. If the city is not successful in these last 2 negotiations, the city will begin an appropriation method with the court system to obtain those necessary pieces that we need. Excuse me. Lorraine Road water main construction has begun. Today, they're starting to dig some bore pits for 12-inch water main that's going to be directionally drilled underneath Lorraine Road to get to the south side of the road from the north side. That should take place tomorrow. That construction for that whole entire project is scheduled to be through the end of August. 1 lane eastbound will be closed during the project for its duration. And on our Center Ridge Road sanitary sewer extension project, the sanitary sewer laterals are continuing to be installed. There are only 6 laterals remaining. A road crew began today prepping North Barton for its new concrete pavement. That pavement should be placed tomorrow. And once that's out of cure, the intersection will be reopened. Our Mills Creek Water Main Rehabilitation Project, all homes on Scotch Pine Way have had their water services reestablished to the newly installed water main. Water services have started to be reinstated on Red Pine Way. All water services on Red Pine Way should be completed by the end of this week. Pavement replacement began on Scotch Pine Way today. The remainder of the pavement replacement will take place tomorrow on Scotch Pine Way. Drive aprons will be reopened when the concrete comes out of cure. Once Red Pine services are complete, the crews will then move over to Spruce Pine to begin installation of the new water main on Spruce Pine and subsequently finish up on White Pine after Spruce Pine. And that completes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Ms. Auditor.
Thank you, Council President. Last week, Friday, the Auditor's Office issued the May 2022 financial report. That report was distributed to Council, the administration, and posted on the city's website for public viewing. Before Council tonight is T97, an ordinance amending appropriations for 2022. I'd like to ask Council to consider adopting this legislation tonight with the emergency clause to allow the auditor the necessary financial resources to meet our current obligations. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Under other reports, please note that we have been provided with the May 2022 Mayor's Court Report, the May 2022 Water Distribution and EPA Report, the May 2022 Building Department Report, the May 2022 Fire Department Report, as well as the May 2022 Police Department Report. With no committee reports, correspondence, or old business before us this evening, we'll move on to new business. Clerk, please read the Planning Commission report dated Tuesday, June 14th, 2022.
Planning Commission report of Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. Proposed legislation amending Chapter 1210 Planning Commission, approved by a vote of 3-0. Proposed legislation amending Chapter 1242 Administration, Enforcement, and Penalty, approved by a vote of 3-0. Proposed legislation creating a new Chapter 1243 Permits and Development Review, approved by a vote of 3-0. Proposed legislation amending Chapter 1244 Board of Zoning and Building Appeals, approved by a vote of 3-0. Proposed legislation amending Chapter 1246 Amendments, approved by a vote of 3-0. Proposed legislation creating a new Chapter 1247 Conditional Uses, approved by a vote of 3-0. Proposed legislation creating a fee schedule for zoning related applications and review reviews approved by a vote of 3-0.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Evans?
these particular proposed legislations were referred to the planning commission by the charter review committee.
Mhm.
And during that meeting, we did review it, look at them, and agreed with the charter review committee. So as a result, I move to approve their action.
Second.
It was moved by Avens and seconded by Swank to approve the planning commission report dated June 14th, 2022. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. Okay. Before we move on to recess, at this time, I'd like to ask Dana Schroeder to please step to the podium. Ms. Schroeder is a longtime colleague and friend of our very own Assistant Clerk of Council, Javi Gallum. It's my understanding that after much hard work and dedication, Mrs. Gallum has recently received the designation of Master Municipal Clerk.
That is correct.
So with that, Ms. Schroeder, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, President Council, Clerk of Council, members of council and staff. My name is Dana Schroeder. I'm the president of the Northeast Ohio Municipal Clerks Association and the director of legislative services for the city of North Royalton. I'm thankful to be here this evening to recognize and honor your assistant clerk of council, my dear friend and fellow clerk, Fajabi Gallum, for achieving her certification as Master Municipal Clerk. The International Institute of Municipal Clerks is a professional association founded in 1947. There are upwards of 15,000 members in the US, Canada, and many other countries. IMC's primary goal is to actively promote the continuing education and professional development of municipal clerks through education programs, certification, publications, networking, annual conferences, and research. IMC also engages in municipal research, enhances critical professional skills development, and fosters a spirit of mutual assistance and good fellowship among municipal clerks around the globe. The Master Municipal Clerks Designation Program was designed to enhance the job performance of the clerk in both small and large municipalities. To earn MMC designation, which is the second and more advanced of the two professional designations granted by IMC, first being the Certified Municipal Clerk designation, the clerk must complete an advanced continuing education program that prepares participants to perform complex municipal duties. The program has an extensive and rigorous educational component and a professional contribution component. It is with my great pleasure that I stand before you tonight to officially present your Assistant Clerk of Council, Fajabi Gallum, with her Master Municipal Clerk designation. After a long and dedicated journey of several years and many hours of seminars, conferences, and institute sessions, she has reached this pinnacle, an achievement that very few clerks are able to accomplish. With 15,000 International Institute of Municipal Clerks members, she is now one out of 1,366 Master Municipal Clerks worldwide. I know Fiji, which is what I call her, has only been a part of your city for a short time, but she is highly dedicated to this profession and has worked very hard to do the best job possible for your city's residents and herself. I'm honored to be here tonight to make this presentation.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Well done.
It was long.
Very long. I've done it too.
And I want to thank council and the president for, I guess, encouraging me and also supporting my continuing education on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Outstanding achievement, congratulations. That brings us to the recess portion of our meeting.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Winkle.
move to dispense with recess.
Second. It was moved by Winkle and seconded by DeVries to dispense with recess this evening. All in favor, say yes. All opposed, say no. All right, we will dispense with recess and move on to first readings. And first up is 292.
T92/2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5952-2022, which repealed and replaced NRCO Chapter 264 Civil Service Commission.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Ruth.
the administration would like to dispense, have the second and third reading dispensed with, and we'll get there, have the emergency clause added to it. So this could be in line with the union contract.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Ruth.
I'll make a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by Booth, seconded by DeVries to dispense with the second and third readings for T92. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no.
Mr. President, make a motion to adopt.
Second.
President, make a motion to add the emergency for the reasons given by the Safety Service Director.
Second.
It was moved by Booth, seconded by DeVries to add the emergency clause to T92 for the reasons stated by the Safety Service Director. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by Booth and seconded by DeVries to adopt T92 with that emergency clause in place. This time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. It becomes 5960-2022.
T93.
T93-2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5536-2019, which authorized the mayor to enter into a contract with a consulting engineering firm for design services, construction plans, and specifications for the Mill Creek Conservation and Flood Control Project by increasing the prior approved amount of $372,000 to $420,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
I'll make a motion to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by Booth and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T93. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, make a motion to add the emergency for the reasons given by the Safety Service Director.
Second.
It was moved by Booth and seconded by Winkle to add the emergency clause to T93 for the reasons stated earlier by the Safety Service Director. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by Booth and seconded by Winkle to adopt T93 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I'd
Booth.
just like to add that this is part of an overall flood control program that the city's been involved with for a number of years. So this is just one more step in that process. And certainly I'm in favor of this and that we move this along as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments or questions?
Through the chair,
Yes, Mr. Engineer.
the grant funds associated, thank you. The grant funds associated with this project do have a time frame limit. The ups and downs of this project through real estate acquisitions that were trying to be made have postponed some of the parts of this project. We are now in a position to keep moving forward. And we also have a time frame on the grants that are associated with this project. So, and with that, we'd like to move forward with this process as soon as possible to make sure we're meeting the demands of our grants.
Any additional comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I just want to point out, this is basically going to be benefiting Mill Creek Conservation. I'm not against it, but I'd like to also point out that there's many developments within Ward 3 that have retention ponds that they're forced to maintain by their own budget. The city does not help them out at all. I just want to point out that that may need to be changed as well.
Thank you. Any final comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
yeah,
Booth.
just to note that this just does not just affect and help the Mills Creek area. It begins back up Turnpike and goes all the way through Cypress, all the way beyond, to the east of Lear Road. And actually, and the engineer can speak more directly to all the areas it affects, but it affects a large portion of the city, not just Mills Creek.
Thank you, through the chair, Councilman Dennis Booth is correct. It does serve a large portion of the city. And that portion of the city was developed prior to any stormwater management rules set in place by the Ohio EPA. Today's standards, anything developed after the Clean Water Act, don't quote me on the year. Those residences and developments do follow that stormwater protocol. They do have their own ponds in place. They are served by their HOAs, and hence their HOAs are with those fees associated are mandated to keep them up to date.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs.
the ordinance mentions Pitts Boulevard and Gina Drive.
Correct.
Without giving my age, I grew up off of Pitts and Gina, and I would swim in the floods. And that was probably 33 years ago. So I feel like, you know, it's about time. There's no HOAs back there. There's no ponds back there. There's nowhere for that water to go. So I agree with your sentiments that, you know, now we have these laws and rules in place, and now these HOAs have to have these retention basins to prevent flooding. So thanks for that explanation.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments or questions at this time? Okay, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Ordinance number 5961-20.
T94.
T94-2022, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with a consulting engineering firm for the city of North Ridgeville sanitary sewer master plan update not to exceed $350,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
I'll make a motion to suspend the second and third readings.
Second. It was moved by Booth, seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T94. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
President, I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to add the emergency, but I'll, through the chair, ask the city service director to explain the emergency. Or the
engineer.
Through the chair, yes, we would like to get this underway as soon as possible. Our previous master plan for the city is dated in the 1970s. There have been a couple of additions to that plan in the early 2000s, and 2013, I believe, was the latest version for change up by the Stony Ridge Mills Road area. So we'd like to get that underway immediately. We had the funds appropriated in 2022. This is also going to help us with any CIP needs to be appropriate for 2023 and into the future. So the sooner we can get out there and get this project started, the better for us.
I'll second.
It was moved by Booth and seconded by Swank to add the emergency clause to T94 for the reasons just stated by the engineer. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by Booth and seconded by Winkle to adopt T94 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
just to add to follow what the engineer said, we did discuss this at length during appropriations, and it is appropriate. So again, we should move forward.
Any other additional comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Becomes ordinance number 5962-20.
T95.
T95-2022, an ordinance amending certain sections of NRCO Chapter 476 snowmobiles, off-highway motorcycles, and all-purpose vehicles.
T95 will be referred back to the Safety Committee. T96.
96-2022, an ordinance amending NRCO Chapter 634, noise control to sound control.
And T96 will also be referred to the Safety Committee. T97.
T97-2022, an ordinance amending ordinance number 5889-2021 of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio, providing appropriations for the period commencing January 1st, 2022 and ending December 31st, 2022.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to dispense with the second and third reading.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to dispense with the second and third reading to T97. Are there any comments or questions at this time? All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
motion to adopt.
Second.
President, motion to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated earlier by the auditor.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to add the emergency clause to T97 for the reasons stated earlier in the meeting by the auditor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It was then moved by DeVries and seconded by Booth to adopt T97 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 5963-2022.
Moving on to second readings, T87.
T87-2022, an ordinance amending Exhibit B of ordinance number 5596-2018 and subsequent amendments thereto in order to establish the compensation and benefits afforded to department heads and certain discretionary employees.
Moving on to third readings, T79.
T79-2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract according to law and in a manner prescribed by law with the lowest and best bidder for the 2022 traffic paint, striping, and other appurtenances not to exceed $100,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
I make a motion to add the emergency so that we can get this request bid and the project begun well in advance of the weather turn.
I think we need to adopt it first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Now I'll make a motion to add the emergency so we can get this project bid as soon as possible. So have the work completed.
Second. Okay, it was moved by Booth and seconded by Avens to add the emergency clause to T79 in order to get the project moving as quickly as possible. On that emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by Booth and seconded by Swing to adopt T79 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haywick,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 5964-2022.
T83.
T83-2022, an ordinance accepting certain streets improvements located in the reserve at Winfield Farm subdivision, phase 2, and dedicating them for public purposes.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swing.
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Swing, seconded by Awig to adopt T83. Are there any comments or questions at this time, Mr. President?
President. Through the chair to the engineer, is this something that would be your emergency clause? Is there a time sensitive matter involved with this?
Through the chair, no, there is not a emergency clause needed on this.
Very good, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Havens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. It becomes ordinance number 5965-2022.
The next regular council meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 5th, 2022 at 7 PM here at City Council Chambers. That is because the 4th of July holiday falls on our normal Monday meeting day. So the meeting's been moved to Tuesday. This time, do any of the council members or administration have any final comments or questions this evening?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Booth.
just two things. One, in relation to the safety service director's comment in regards to the fireworks at Victory Park. I believe that you must buy your ticket online, that they will not be selling tickets the day of. So if you are interested in going on grounds for that event, please visit their website to safety service director provided earlier. And also just a note, there throughout the summer and fall, there are several baseball and softball tournaments that are held at the Shady Drive complex. And some of them will charge their participants when they enter a fee to park. That fee is not for North Ridgeville residents. Shady Drive is a park. In addition to being a park, it also has baseball and softball diamonds that are leased. The diamonds are leased, but not the park. So if you are there to enjoy the facilities of the park, the pavilions, the children's play area, or any of the aspects, the walking trails, you do not need to pay. So if you enter and there's someone who asks you to pay, just let them know that you're a resident and you will not be charged. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other final comments or questions? This meeting is adjourned.